Hi everyone. Good morning. It's 11:30 a.m. for me here on Friday, June 28th, 2024. What a day, what a time, what a week we have had here on YouTube. If you're watching this on the replay, and you're not interested in like a lot of like my thoughts, feel free to like scoot ahead a few minutes, but I just want to wax poetic for just a hot second because my various communities that I follow online have all been in shambles this past week, and it's just been a lot. um, and so my mind is just a little bit heavy this morning, covering or like reviewing and watching this community infighting like crazy, and this community over here dealing with what they're dealing with, and like this person that I follow like expressing how like her ex-husband is involved in some like secretive uh um sex cult essentially, like this stuff that just like it's like all been in my face and on my mind this morning. And good reminder to, when in doubt, disconnect. It's my job to, it's part of my job, what I like to do here. This is more of a hobby than like a job, but part of that means that I have to absorb information so that I can process it and deliver it to you all with my commentary. But sometimes it's just too much. And it's okay to unplug sometimes and then come back to a community after a little bit of a break. The reason that I say that is because I'm a little tired. I'm a little slow today, but I still want to talk to you about this because what a wow we have going on. So before I get started, we're here to talk about DrDisRespect and what has been unfolding over the past week, with the I don't want to say conclusion, but like the climax for now being that he has been demonetized on YouTube. So yay, YouTube finally did something right. Years after Twitch already did that right thing. So YouTube finally caught the ball on that one. Like the extent that YouTube has to be pushed to in order for them to finally demonetize somebody's channel, and God knows if it's a permanent demonetize. At least Twitch bans are permanent. I don't know if this YouTube demonetization is permanent or not, but the level that things have to reach before Twitch is willing, or before YouTube is willing to do something effective, because not much is effective besides impacting a corrupted creator's wallet, in my opinion. It's kind of sad. Like the bar is very low. And what I mean by that is like maybe I should change it. Their bar of like their tolerance for bullshit, that bar is way too high, I guess is what I mean. Or the bar for what they'll accept is extremely low. The bars are in the wrong places, is what I'm saying. So that's, if you're already caught up on the DrDisRespect situation, I'm not bearing the lead. That's the newest, biggest update, is that DrDisRespect has been demonetized from YouTube as of like late last night. So well deserved. But if you're new to the situation, I will be here to fill you in on why that is and what the freak has been going on and developing over the past week on the internet, but especially on Twitter is where things have really been focused as far as where new developments are happening. So before I get into that, hi, my name is Hannah. Welcome back to my channel, Hannah Needs to Yell. This is my commentary and opinions based on, with probably a little bit of speculation, even though some things have been admitted to by now. But all of this being said, I was not there in person. I am speaking on what has been shared publicly. I don't know any private information. I'm giving my commentary. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. Don't take me as an arbiter of fact. Also, if you end up liking this video, maybe give it a like. If you're here right now, give the stream a thumbs up because it lets people know that we're here and helps them come find me. If you like my stuff, subscribe to my channel. Set your notifications to all because I'm doing more streaming than videos these days. And that's that. Also, there's no verdict yet in the Karen Read trial, so my eyes are a little bit like paying attention to that, but I'm going to try to stay focused on what we're here for. So now, what we're here for. Okay, guys, I'm just so freaking tired of this shit. I'm so tired of this shit. What the fuck is going on? Is it too early to say fuck? No, we're about 6 minutes in. What the fuck is going on? On YouTube, on social media in general, every 5 seconds, it's always gotta be some goddamn shit with underage people. Why is it always gotta be kids? What the fuck? Okay. All right. So, as I said, DrDisRespect got demonetized on YouTube. Who is DrDisRespect? He was a massive Twitch streamer from the late 2010s until about 2020. In the middle of 2020, he was banned from Twitch for reasons that they were a bit vague about at the time. Where is it? I closed. I'm going to open up an article that I had. Oh, you know what? I had it open in Safari, not in Google Chrome. Back when this first happened, when he was first banned from Twitch, there was a BBC article put out at the time that since I'm going through the whole history of this, I feel like I want to show it to you. To show, like, this is all that anybody knew at the time when this ban first took place. Oh, yes, Sammy, we'll get there. Louder. Is my volume okay? Okay. All right, so let me... Yes, oh my Jesus God. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, guys, my computer is... Oh my God. Okay. Tell me if you can see the screen share, because it's giving me a... It looks like you can see it, right? Okay, thank you, Sammy. Thank God, Sammy, my social media angel, is here to interpret when my anxiety gets the better of me. Okay. So, this is back in 2020 when this first happened. This article is from June 30th. I believe the ban itself took place on like June 27th, 26th-ish of 2020. DrDisRespect, the mystery surrounding his Twitch ban, because at the time he was one of the hugest, most viewed, most, like, everybody watched DrDisRespect. Loud, abrasive, and brash. DrDisRespect has been one of Twitch's most popular streamers. And then suddenly on June 26th, his channel closed down. Fans have been speculating on social media ever since. Has he broken the law, behaved inappropriately, or breached copyright? Twitch has shared with Radio 1 News Beat, this is in the BBC, this is some British resource, the same statement that they've put online. So this was the statement from Twitch at the time. We take appropriate action when we have evidence that a streamer has acted in violation of our community guidelines or terms of service. They have said nothing more on the case, but given how key he is to the platform, we expect the company's most senior people are dealing with it. And, they weren't wrong. And then this article goes on to discuss, this was 2020, the middle of 2020, and they're discussing, like, there's been a lot of discourse right now about the way that streamers act toward their fans. This other guy, not gonna lie, I don't know Brad Jolly. I don't know what he did. I'm sure he didn't do good things, but I appreciate this statement. Brad Jolly, who streamed as Bless RNG, had his channel removed from the site after being accused of SA. He released a statement saying, "I, without thinking straight, did A-ish things, and I hate that I did that. Hold Ayers accountable. That includes me." You know what? It's not exactly an apology. It's not exactly probably what everybody would have wanted, but you know what? Hold abusers accountable. That includes me. Sometimes that's all you need to say. Because that's the truth. Okay? So everybody was on alert. Everybody was informed somehow that something had happened with DrDisRespect. And we also got we also got an inkling from Slasher back at the time. Which, oh my god. Sorry, people are being funny in the comments of Slasher's tweet. I didn't save the old one. Why am I dumb? Man. Anyway, there's an account called Slasher. The guy's name is Rod Breslow. And where is it? Whatever. Oh, there it is. Thank you. Somebody did the work for me. Thank you, comment cop. Why are all my links opening in Safari instead of where I need them? Sorry for the delay, guys. I'm just Am I fucking stupid? No, I'm not. Okay, thank God. Okay. I guess I'm not signed in. Goodbye. I'm not logging in. So they did this side by side. Slasher back in 2020, June 27th, I remember this being the date. Said, "Look, for several hours now, I have been told from credible sources the reason DrDisRespect has been banned. However, due to the importance and sensitivity around the subject, I have refrained from going on it. I don't feel comfortable with it currently." In 2024, this is the first tweet that kind of started this conversation again from Cody Connors or Adivoli. Cody says he got banned because got caught sexting a minor, and then in the then existing Twitch Whispers product, he was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. The powers that be could read in plain text. Case closed, gang. And we will get to Cody because there's issues with Cody. And then Rod says, "I didn't lie," in response. So based on these three breadcrumbs, even though Cody didn't mention DrDisRespect's name, because Rod Slasher did and used the "I didn't lie" to like kind of connect the 2024 tweet back to the 2020 tweet, people figured out that the person being discussed in 2024 was DrDisRespect, and that ban that took place back in 2020. So this is not the first controversy that DrDisRespect has found himself in. And for some lore here, I have to go to a source that I don't really like. I'm going to be honest with you guys. A lot of the community around this, like talking about this, is not my favorite creators. But what matters the most is that the facts are out there and how important and influential this creator is, DrDisRespect. So it's important to me to discuss what is impacting a lot of community members, regardless of if it's like community members that I agree with the most. So Drama Alert has a nice summary real quick here of some various DrDisRespect eras, as they say it. The cheating era, he's known for having cheated on his wife and came online and publicly streamed about it and admitted it. The bathroom era, because he was publicly filming or in a public bathroom at some point. The ban era, 2020, banned from Twitch for reasons that at the time seemed serious, but nobody knew for sure. And then now we've got some dots being connected for us. And the allegation era, now here in June of 2024, referring back and confirming the allegations from 2020, or at least clarifying. Personally, as far as cheating, that's a personal matter. That's not necessarily something that, you know, if it's a lifestyle channel or a family channel or like a this is how to be a good couple kind of channel, then cheating matters a lot more. Not that cheating doesn't matter, but like it's not something that impacts an audience, so it's not the type of thing that I'm gonna necessarily comment on or like really make a big like following or subscribing decision based on. The filming in public bathrooms thing, I don't know a ton about that, but it sounds just inappropriate, if not like I'm pretty sure it's illegal. And then both of the other eras are just this issue. So, now that we are all finding out exactly why DrDisRespect was banned back in 2020, I can take you through the process of essentially how that information came out. I showed you that series of 3 tweets that pretty much confirmed the breadcrumb back in 2020 at the time, the new breadcrumb from Cody like about a week ago, Friday of last week, and then the kind of confirmation reference back from Rod or Rob or whatever, or known as Slasher. That all happened about Friday of last week. And there was a series of basically a slow trickle of information coming out, and then DrDisRespect responds, and then more information comes out, and then DrDisRespect responds a little bit more. And this kind of slowly phasing in information that's not what I wanted to do. Here's his Twitter, DrDisRespect. Where's the original tweet, for God's sakes? Whatever. Go up, guys. I'm not good at like publicly using websites and not looking like an idiot. This post wasn't deleted. Sorry guys, I'm a little frazzled because like I said, This is just, I'm tired today. There's been too much of this shit. I'm like existentially, emotionally exhausted by the number of stories I'm keeping a mind on right now, or I'm keeping an eye on right now, related to this subject. I'm not going to continue losing sleep on it, but it is just, it's a lot. So forgive me if I'm a little clunky today. Whatever. I can't get it to show the original like tweet that this is in response to. I'm trying to get it to. It won't. But yep, exactly. So but the point is, when this first came out, when somebody named Jake, I guess, reported on Cody's tweet and the connection back with Slasher and everything, DrDisRespect starts his first statement on the matter was a reply to that saying, Jake, seriously, I get it, it's a hot topic, but this has been settled. No wrongdoing was acknowledged, and they paid out the whole contract. So this has been settled is in reference to a civil lawsuit between DrDisRespect and Twitch because he sued them for banning him, essentially, for the reputational damage that he suffered as a result of that. No wrongdoing was acknowledged. Basically, neither side of the lawsuit, himself nor Twitch, acknowledged any law that either of them had done anything wrong through the settlement, essentially. And they paid out the whole contract. Whatever partnership contract that may have been started with DrDisRespect in March of 2020, Twitch followed through on that obligation as part of the settlement and paid out the contract. That is completely not the response of somebody who didn't sex with an underage person. Somebody who didn't send inappropriate messages with an underage person would come out and say, I didn't send those messages with that underage person. This is defamatory. Remove this shit. Right? That's not this response. So, at least in my opinion, that's what he would be saying. All right, let me do something. Oh boy. Yeah. Chris, I see your comment. I'm not going to put it up on screen, but what regarding that screenshot you're mentioning, I think it's not verified yet. So if I get more verification of that, then that would be something that I would add to the story. Since I'm a little frazzled today, here's what I'm going to do. Let's go through this article. Rolling Stone just put out an article about this whole thing. And they speak directly to the same sources that are speaking on social media. They reference a lot of the things that I was going to try to show you on social media, but I'm a little bit too all over the place, and I'm just like pissed. One thing you'll notice, so this is DrDisRespect knowingly sent explicit messages to a minor, former Twitch employee says. Banned from the platform in 2020 over inappropriate text to an underage girl, the streamer continues to insist he did nothing wrong. This was published yesterday. It was partially authored by Rod Breslau, who is Slasher, as far as I know, from Twitter, who we were just talking about. There's the man himself. God, if he doesn't look like he needs to wash his face. Anyway. Okay, so 4 years after DrDisRespect, age 42, was banned from Twitch for undisclosed reasons. Report emerged this week that he had allegedly used the Amazon-owned platform direct messaging feature to send sexually explicit texts to a minor. This was alleged to have happened. He confirms it later on. to have happened back in 2017 when this man would have been 35. Sending sexually explicit texts to a minor. Even if she was 17 years and 11 months and 3 weeks and 6 days old. Ew. Okay? Ew. You're 35, and at the time I'm pretty sure he was also married, so... Now the internal response to those alleged conversations, long a subject of rumor and speculation, is finally coming to light. He had 4 million Twitch followers at the time. He was permanently banned from the platform on June 26th, 5 days after this June 21 statement that they mention up here. He was good at playing video games, but Twitch confirmed that he violated community guidelines. Discord cut him loose from their partnership program. The only people who stuck around was YouTube and several sponsorships that we'll get to eventually. BM went on to sue Twitch, this is what I was talking about, over financial losses and reputational damages, settled with the company in 2022. Neither party admitted to wrongdoing, and details of this legal agreement remain unclear, which makes sense. That's typical. Meanwhile, the cause for the ban remained a mystery, prompting years of innuendo. Full disclosure, the primary author of this article, Rod Rod, first learned the reason for Beam's ban from credible sources in June 2020, but chose not to report on it then due to the extreme sensitivity of the topic. And can I just mention something? This is a sensitive topic. And this statement about why DrDisRespect was banned is not being shared by a victim who's coming forward, but it's being shared by somebody else disclosing this story. So this already has me a little bit uncomfortable about this whole situation from the start, because we're talking a lot about something that happened to a real person when they were a minor and bringing all of this to the forefront without their consent, as far as any of us know. I really don't like that, but nobody asked me for permission, so here we are. They also probably didn't ask her for permission. I don't know. So, the gossip reached a fever pitch on Friday, 1 week ago, when former Twitch employee Cody Connors, without naming BM, well, this is what I already said. BM denied any wrongdoing in a tweet the following day, saying, "I didn't do anything wrong. All this has been probed and settled. Nothing illegal. No wrongdoing was found," he wrote. I have that tweet. This is the first statement that he made that was not basically a response to somebody else's statement. That previous statement that I showed you was him responding to somebody else. He says on June 22nd, "Listen, I'm obviously tied to legal obligations from the settlement with Twitch," which makes me think of an NDA, and I think that's what he's referring to here. Or at least implying he doesn't have to, at least trying to put up an excuse why he can't talk about it. "But I just need to say what I can since this is the effing internet." I've already said fucks, but since this is the fucking internet. "I didn't do anything wrong. All this has been probed and settled. Nothing illegal. No wrongdoing was found. And I was paid. Elden Ring Monday." This is not going to age well. It's only been a week, and it's not aging well already. Just warning you. So, After independently reviewing internal Twitch communications and interviewing a source with knowledge of the situation, Rolling Stone has learned that BM was kicked off the platform in 2020 for allegedly sexting a minor through a since discontinued messaging feature called Whispers, even after learning she was underage. He was so old. He was so old to be doing this shit. He was so old to be doing this shit. And like I said, he looks like he needs to wash his face. He also allegedly inquired about her plans to attend TwitchCon, the company's semi-annual gaming convention. What are the chances that would have just been like a very wholesome and casual, like, autograph signing meetup? Let's just speculate. Let's just imagine a horny old man messaging an underage girl, trying to find out whether or not they were both going to be in the same place at the same time. Mind you, an underage girl with whom he sent sexually explicit texts. I wonder what kind of meetup he might have been trying to figure out about. I wonder what might have happened. I mean, thank God. Nothing illegal happened and no wrongdoing was found. Because I'm pretty sure if they had met up, he wouldn't have been able to say that. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm just wondering out loud. That's not good. We'll just do that again. Next. And this is, listen, I'm relying on this article because it's a very concise way to lay out this whole timeline. On Monday, BM was fired from Midnight Society, the gaming studio he co-founded, which said it had investigated the allegation against him after learning of it the night of Connors' cryptic tweet. And again, I have that statement linked. And in the timeline, okay, before we get to Monday, though, with Midnight Society, something happens first in this timeline. So, Cody Connors, who kind of first, not broke this story, but like kind of confirmed it. There's been some very weird things being brought up about his... Basically, he becomes the Cody Rants of this situation. Does everybody remember the Colleen Ballinger situation that took place? Basically, Cody Rants back in 2023, last summer, blew up this whole thing about Colleen Ballinger, kind of started that ball rolling, tipped over the first domino that fell or whatever into Colleen Ballinger getting massively exposed. And then turns out that they had some skeletons in their closet. Yep. Turns out, same thing here with Cody Evoli, I believe is the Twitter name there. He had tweeted between July 23, October 23, and December of 2023, Evoli tweeted these thrice, when he was promoting his band, these promotional tweets that teased that if people bought tickets to his show, if people sold out his show, if people attended his show, then he might tell everyone why he got banned. And it's very reasonable to speculate that the he's referring to was DrDisRespect, because when he did finally come out with this tweet, finally telling everyone why he got banned, he was talking about DrDisRespect. So this former Twitch employee, again, dangling not his story to tell, some victim's story of something that happened to them when they were a minor, dangling over people's head like some weird little reward, some weird little treat he was going to give them if they came to see his goddamn band. Okay? So I'm not a particular fan of Cody in this situation. This is what I mean by, like, the messenger. Sometimes the messengers of these facts are not my favorite people, but the facts themselves, the story that they're telling, is still worth sharing. But I wish he had not been toying with the idea of sharing this, because God forbid that minor who had been in communication with DrDisRespect was still paying attention to this whole story. And thank God they're not exposing this person. We don't know if that might happen in the future, if anybody gets a little wily, if anybody wants to really sell some band tickets. They might decide, I'd like to tell you who. You never know. People can stoop to any low for money, it seems. But if this girl, who hopefully she's not still a minor, especially if this happened in 2017, but if this, who was a minor at the time, having these conversations, if they're paying attention to this story and have been over time, the way that they must have been, like, just praying that he didn't sell enough band tickets. Because I don't know. This just doesn't seem to me like the type of story that should just be lightly dangled about and teased about. Not his business. Not his business to talk about. And it's one of those things where it's a double-edged sword, because I'd rather that we know about it than not know about it. Because I'd rather that we protect DrDisRespect's viewers from him, especially if there's any other underage girls in his fandom, right? That's ultimately a positive thing. What is it? The arc of the universe bends toward good, or whatever the freak. But, like, God, I wish. I have conflicted feelings about just about every part of this story. Anyway. So that all came out about Cody over the weekend. On the 24th, as that Rolling Stones article, Rolling Stones, I don't know. Kidney stones, who cares? Midnight Society, the company that Guy, aka DrDisRespect, co-founded, posted this tweet sharing their stance. On Friday evening, we became aware of an allegation against one of our co-founders, Guy BM, aka DrDisRespect. We assumed his innocence and began speaking with parties involved, and in order to maintain our principles and standards as a studio and individuals, we needed to act. For this reason, we are terminating our relationship with Guy BM immediately. While these facts are difficult to hear and even more difficult to accept, it is our duty to act with dignity on behalf of all individuals involved, especially the 55 developers and families we have employed along with our community of players. So, we would like to cover our ass by disassociating from this person. Fair. Honestly, fair. They didn't do this. So, and I know that I'm not interacting with the chat as much as usual today. I just want to get through the meat of this before I go see a bunch of opinions about it. So, save up the comments. I will get to them. Then on Tuesday, reporting from The Verge's Ash Paris and Bloomberg's Cecilia D'Anastasio matched the details of BM's case to Connors' account. 3 sources confirmed to Bloomberg that BM had been kicked off the site for sending direct messages to a minor that included sexually graphic details. So there are at least 3 sources out there, not just Cody, that are saying that this is what happened. And that helps me believe everything more. Not that I really need a bunch of convincing, but because of how DrDisRespect eventually admits this, guys. He eventually admits this himself. We're gonna get there. But also, just in case he didn't want to, 3 sources are saying this. 2 of them also confirmed that BM asked her, the minor, about her plans for the upcoming TwitchCon. BM, who did not reply to a request for comment on this story, once again took to Twitter to defend himself, this time with a longer statement in which he admitted to some things that he edited. So let's get to that. Oh, wait. Sorry. Oh, wait, no. The timeline is fair. I'm looking at my timeline that I made. So on June 25th, a mere 3 days ago, DrDisRespect puts out his version. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I forgot to put the article back on screen. There it is. That's what I was reading from. Okay. Guys, I'm in a little bit of a mood today, if you can't tell. Please bear with me. Okay. This one I will remember to add to the stage. The one, the only Doc decided to make his own statement. DrDisRespect, the Twitch ban. Hello. Here, I'm going to just do real quick. That, because that may make it a little bit bigger. He says, hello. Hi. I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. Classy. As you know, there's no filter with me. Yeah, I can tell you're really proving that point by putting the F word in your beginning sentence. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything I can be upfront about. Really making a point here about how honest he is before he gets into some bullshit. And I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. Tell me if you think. Tell me if you think this is what that is. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and Midnight Society and I. And we made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. That's not exactly what Midnight's tweet sounded like it was saying. They didn't say it was a mutual collective decision, but who am I to interpret the English language? Our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and families, and I'd never want to jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted, and yet I did. So, everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Again, alluding to or implying some kind of NDA or some kind of thing holding him back, some kind of excuse, I don't know. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can tell you my side of the story, or I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. And that's where the statement needs to end. Okay, dude, you were 35 in 2017. This is not like an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old texting a 17. This is a 35-year-old man. He could be her dad. Dude. The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. Although we were talking about how we could meet up at TwitchCon. I did ask her if we could meet in person. These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Okay, so sometimes leaning too much in the direction of being inappropriate is not the description that people give to define the word sexting or sexually graphic or sexually explicit. So perhaps this is a matter of opinion. Perhaps this is a matter of interpretation. I don't know. But it seems like he would like to, cut the bullshit and take responsibility while at the same time sugarcoating what the fuck he did. That's what it seems like to me. I'm sorry, guys. Nothing illegal happened because I got caught first. No pictures were shared. I can't say one way or the other about that. No crimes were committed because I got caught first, allegedly, in my opinion. I never even met the individual, even though I wanted to meet her at TwitchCon. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Nobody cares. Literally nobody cares. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case brought against me, and it was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. Although, let's put a pin in that, because the Rolling Stone article is going to allude to the possibility of an investigation. So, who knows? Maybe that's coming. I don't know. Although statute of limitations is probably over if this happened in 2017, but it depends. Now, from a moral standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. I should never have entertained these conversations to begin with. Do you see what this is? I should have never entertained these conversations. Entertaining a conversation means somebody else started it with you and you were entertaining it. Like, that's how it comes across to me. It's like, oh, this little girl, this little child reached out to me and started talking with me about her body parts. I just entertained, I just laughed along. Sir, you're 35 when this happened. You're now 42. Give me a break. What happened to cutting the bullshit? That's on me. It sure as fuck is. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect. Sir, I hate that line. This is not an I'm not perfect situation. I'm not perfect is a typo on your taxes. This is sexually explicit conversations with a minor. And I'll fucking own my shit. This was stupid. Sorry guys, I'm just checking in with the chat to make sure everything is okay. I know that this is a controversial topic, so let me just put out there, Disney, can you confirm for me that you have the ability to ban? Because if you need to, please feel free to. I don't think that we're in that situation in the chat. I'm not seeing anything crazy right now, but like, I'm not. I don't fucking care at this moment. He goes on to say, now with all this being said, don't get it fucking mistaken. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. And this was before his confirmation of this. I didn't want to say anything about this because for the first few days, there was no receipts. There was no evidence. There was no screenshots being shown. It was just these guys coming forward and saying we think this happened. We've seen the receipts, but we can't share them with you. But then once Mr. Sir gets on here and confirms it and admits it, man, how are you gonna come out here and admit this and then also be mad that people are calling you names, dude? Listen, I tried not to jump to conclusions. I didn't jump to conclusions. I tried not to join a bandwagon. I didn't join a bandwagon. I didn't come out and say anything because I wanted to wait to hear from you or wait until there was hard evidence, which there wasn't for a while. There was just, I have seen this shit and I can't share it with you, but it exists, which is difficult. It's difficult for me. I'm not going to lie. That's a hard basis to base things on. But it's just like you're saying, I'm mad about these remarks and labels. Sure, I'm admitting that I sexted a minor, but I'm not a predator or a pedophile. You didn't know that I was before I'm now admitting that I am or am doing things that people could consider to be predatory or pedophilic. So you shouldn't have been calling me that before. But now I am telling you that I did do that stuff though. So now, like what, dude? Social media is a destruction zone. You destroying the lives of minors. Anyone that truly knows me fucking knows where I stand on those things with those types of people. Fuck that. Strange. Because you did it as well. So fuck yourself, I guess. Yeah, that's fair. That's a different level of disgust that I fucking hate even hearing about. Don't be labeling me as the worst of the worst with your exaggerations. Dude, you said what you said. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Tell me why I should. Tell me why. Because what you're telling me is why you did. You did do the thing though. So anyway. Further, he says, but I think I've said what I needed to say regarding the ban itself. That's it. That's why Twitch made the decision in 2020. To my team, community, industry, friends that have supported me, I apologize. I wish I could have said all this sooner. You guys have always showed me and my family love and support throughout all these years. We love you guys like you can't imagine. I have the fucking best community and circle. If any of this has made you uncomfortable, I get it. You don't have to support me anymore, but just know you have always been greatly appreciated. But trust me when I say this, to all my haters that live and breath social media with zero real life experience, I don't give a fuck about you. You are 42. Grow up. That's not what this is about, you asshat. Finally, if you're uncomfortable with this entire situation, you and your feelings, you feelsy lefties with your feelings, and think I am a piece of shit, that's fine. Okay. But I'm not fucking going anywhere. Except YouTube did demonetize you, so I bet you're not sticking around. I'm not the same guy that made this mistake all those years ago when I was 35. I'm taking an extended vacation with my family as mentioned on stream, and I'm coming back with a heavy weight off my shoulders. They want me to disappear? Yeah, fucking right. But I am gonna leave for a while. It's a vacation. So, this was on June 25th. This was on June 25th. What's notable about this post is the edit history, which for some reason here in the desktop version, I am not finding. I don't know what the fuck I did wrong. Okay. There were past edits to this. It's not coming up for me right now in this format. H3H3 in their podcast highlight showed the edits. They were able to bring it up desktop style. I don't know why I can't. But a previous version of this, first he published it like this first. And then he made an edit where he changed the word minor. See in the part where he admits things? Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. He published it like this, then he went back and edited it and removed the word minor to make it read, were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual back in 2017? The answer is yes. Sure changes the context, doesn't it? But then people called him out on it, and he came back to edit it again, add the word minor back in. The first time he published this was on the 25th at like 11:23 a.m., I believe, was this. And then he finished the edits by 2:23 p.m. on June 25th. This is the final version. There were other versions. So. That's the guy's statement. You know, cutting the bullshit. Okay. Thank you, Disney. I'll update your permissions. Remind me in Discord. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just taking a breath. I'm looking at the chat for a quick second. On the 25th, that was when that was tweeted. We soon saw reactions from friends and collaborators of DrDisRespect, including Nick Merckx, Tim the Tapman, KSI. A bunch of people by now have said shit about this because it deserves saying shit about. And a lot of these people are not necessarily like my type of creator. I think that if you watch my content, you're not going to necessarily enjoy these people's content. But I'm just saying, like, his community this is a universal thing. This is a universally considered to be wrong to be talking with minors. Whether you're on the left, on the right, on the up, on the down, on the center, on the inverse, nobody thinks it's cool for 35-year-old men to be sexually talking with a 17-year-old or younger. So I'm glad that his people came out and said something about it, not just a bunch of feelsy lefties like myself. So. Let's get back to the concise people who know how to speak a little bit more eloquently than myself right now. See, yeah, so this talks about the tweet edit history. Shows that BM had edited the tweet after to remove the word minor, replacing it with the word individual, and then he put the word minor back. Nothing illegal happened, no pictures were shared, etc. I read through that. A former Twitch trust and safety employee who worked for the platform at the time BM was banned has direct knowledge of the matter, confirmed to the Rolling Stone that Beam continued to send sexually graphic messages to a minor he knew to be underage. This former employee, who requested anonymity to avoid jeopardizing their career, also said that crucial elements of Beam's latest defensive tweet are inaccurate. The one that we just read together. They say, I recall that DrDisRespect was made aware by the individual that they were underage during the conversation, after which he indicated this was no problem and continued on. There was no confusion. Messages sent after this was acknowledged. Messages sent after this was acknowledged were no less graphic and in sexually explicit nature than before. And I think more than the categorization of leaning too much in the direction of being inappropriate might indicate. Fair. I haven't seen them, but makes sense to me. Okay. The ex-Twitch employee has also provided Rolling Stone a more detailed account of internal conversations at Twitch following the report of Beam's messages and his subsequent ban. They say the details of Beam's case are coming out because of Connors' explosive tweet last week. Yep, Cody definitely got the ball rolling. Me and many of my former colleagues are only comfortable speaking up now because of it. Our priority is always to the safety of the alleged victim and to keep their identity secret, they said. Some of its streamers faced a flood of sexual misconduct allegations in June 2020. Twitch created an incident response team, codenamed Gold Sparrow, to develop a process to investigate and take action on the reports as one unit, the former employee says. We wanted to be able to process mounting investigations quicker and with more resources while providing as much support for the victims as possible. Twitch did not provide comment by the time of publication. And that's good to know that they have a team that handles this. Would do good if YouTube did the same. Because again, how did this... People have been saying in their commentary around this subject that Twitch and YouTube people were talking behind the scenes. I don't know why this guy, who was like allegedly a danger to a minor, because what did you think was going to happen at that meetup? Why? It was bad enough that he got banned from Twitch and demonetized from Discord. Still, he could come over to YouTube to make YouTube money, which as far as I know, YouTube money is a lot better than TikTok money is what I've heard. Twitch money is pretty freaking good though. So like, I don't know. I would think that you wouldn't want this guy on your platform prowling around and having the opportunity to make more victims. This is the problem with YouTube. They're way too late. It's too little too late every single fucking time. Anyway. I have a hunch as to who this employee is that they're referring to here who wants to remain anonymous. They did tweet, or it might be a different person. That's the thing. There's somebody who tweeted something similar to this. Just in case it's the same person, I'm not going to pull that tweet up in my video, even though I have it in my notes. Because if they're trying to remain at some level of anonymity, then I don't want to contribute to any potential risk for them. But there is somebody who tweeted something along the lines of this. So this is backed up by at least one public statement, at least in part. When the initial report about BM's alleged inappropriate messages came through in 2020, an investigation began. After viewing the contents of the whisper conversation, it quickly became clear the egregiousness of conduct and what actions Twitch must take, the former employee says. The decision to permanently terminate BM was relatively quick due to the severity of the behavior. It was severe enough for them to take quick action. This was not up for debate, which is why I take issue with it sometimes leaned in the direction of being a little inappropriate. Sir, you're 42. Twitch can't and won't make the alleged messages public, thank God, the ex-employee says, as this not only endangers the victim and investigations by law enforcement. So this is what makes me think that it's wishful thinking for DrDisRespect to post that I haven't been accused of anything illegal, there's been no criminal charges, whatever he said. There's at least an implication that something is being investigated by law enforcement. So Maybe he didn't know about it, but I don't think he's in the clear here yet. In early 2021, the Twitch Trust and Safety Team created OSIT, an investigation team that reports off-site misconduct by creators. Okay, I'm trying to just keep it focused on DrDisRespect, but that's good to know that they have that. Following the ban from Twitch, he returned to YouTube in August 2020. But while he was free to use both that platform and Facebook Gaming, neither offered him an exclusive partnership, which is fine. YouTube doesn't do that for a lot of people. His lack of streaming his lack of a streaming contract was notable for a celebrity in the industry at the time when other streamers like Valkyrae, Ludwig, and Tim the Tatman were signing 7-figure, multi-year deals. And this is where, like I said, YouTube is acting too late, doing too little too late. YouTube's former global head of gaming partnerships at Google, Ryan Watt, confirmed to Rolling Stone that Beam was not offered a contract due to chatter about the circumstances of his Twitch ban. So somebody at YouTube knew why he was banned from Twitch. And I get, like, you're not offering him a global sponsorship or a global partnership, but you're still letting him come on and make millions of dollars through standard monetization. That's not great either. Discord didn't remove him from a special level of partnership. They just demonetized his shit back in 2020. YouTube could have done the same thing. You know? Like, YouTube has terms of service. Maybe it's like one of these things where you have to break YouTube's terms of service on YouTube, but he broke YouTube's terms of service on Twitch. He did the same actions on Twitch. Did they think he was going to come to YouTube and not do the same thing? I don't know. Wishful thinking all around. He says that a Twitch employee and journalists investigating the incident told YouTube employees that it involved inappropriate messages to a minor. And now, thankfully, here in 2024, we finally got our act together to demonetize this man. The unfortunate part of it all was that we didn't do... The unfortunate part of it all was there were so many rumors circulating in the industry, one, that a minor was involved, but no one produced firsthand knowledge or evidence. And because of those rumors, there was no reason to entertain... Because there was no evidence, I guess, is why he did not get outright demonetized from the start. Because of those rumors, there was no reason to entertain doing a deal with BM, and no evidence produced means you can't act on a terms of service violation. So he split that up into two pieces. So we didn't offer him a special partnership, but because no evidence was produced, we couldn't say that he did a TOS violation. You know what it sounds like to me? I think you didn't ask for evidence because he has a huge following who are all going to come over to YouTube and watch a bunch of videos and watch a bunch of ads and like make you a bunch of money. So I think that maybe you chose not to see what was readily available to look at, is my opinion. My opinion. You chose not to look at it. You chose not to seek it out, in my opinion. The whole situation got even more confusing when Twitch settled and effectively said no wrongdoing in 2022, 2 years later. You had time. Which made everyone in the industry dismiss the rumors. But even still, there was never a reason to do a deal with him after that ban. Ryan. A spokesperson for CAA, Beam's talent agency, tells Rolling Stone he is no longer a client and no longer hasn't been for some time. A bunch of people have condemned him. San Francisco 49ers cut ties with him. So is the NBA 2K video game franchise. So, and he's lost a bunch of financial sponsorships and deals and stuff as a result of this whole thing this past week. He says, finally, the final statement. Even today, I'm humbled by that experience, says the former Twitch employee who was at the company when it mobilized to address the reports of misconduct by Beam and others in the summer of 2020. The bravery of the victims speaking out and the commitment by my colleagues to doing right by them. I hope that we're all on a better path now for it. So, that's the end of the Rolling Stone article. I'm going to go over to my personal timeline and see if there's anything that I wrote down. Oh, Sammy. God damn it. Sorry, just for a break from this, the jury is hung in Karen Reed, and I'm going to scream. Not about this now, though, but geez. I don't know how. I do know how, but anyway. So, back to my timeline real quick. So I'm not going to show you the statement from the other Twitch employee. Doc was removed from a video game. They mentioned that. Turtle Beach removed all of his merch. The 49ers have stopped working with him. His whiskey company, I think, also dropped him. He's been disavowed by a ton of creators. YouTube suspended his monetization like last night. And now that brings us here today to Friday, June 28th. Now it's 12:42 p.m. I didn't think this stream was going to take so long, but it makes sense that it did. It was just a lot of information to go through. And this is, I'll just show you really quick there are several sources out there right now about the demonetization, but the first article that I saw was from IGN. Yeah, see, at 1:30 in the morning, my time at least, YouTube suspends monetization on DrDisRespect's channel following serious allegations. He did admit to it, though. I think the allegation has to do with whether or not you consider it sometimes verging on inappropriate versus like, no, he was sexting a minor. Or, like how serious you think the messages were. The allegation is about the seriousness, essentially. But the action has been admitted to. So, YouTube has officially suspended monetization on the channel of Guy Beam, the popular streamer known as DrDisRespect, amid continuing reports surrounding his 2020 ban from Twitch and allegedly sexual explicit messages to a minor. Go. My little trackpad is not helping. We have suspended DrDisRespect's channel from the YouTube Partner Program. Suspended. Sounds temporary to me. We've seen a lot of creators who are temporarily suspended and they just come back after things blow over. Following serious allegations against the creator, a YouTube spokesperson said in a statement to IGN, "This action means the channel is no longer able to monetize on YouTube." Yup, that do be what demonetized means. They took the action for violating our creator responsibility policy. That means that if a creator's off-platform behavior harms our users, employees, or ecosystem, we may take action to protect our community, including by suspending monetization. The creator is also unable to create new or alternate channels while their current channel is suspended from the YouTube Partner Program. The way that this sounds temporary to me, the way that this just like, it sounds like they're saying, like the many ways in which this sounds like, yeah, we're giving him a slap on the wrist. Suspended is such a word to use. If you don't mean suspended, if you mean banned permanently, that's not a mistake to say suspended. Well, good to know that memberships are also unavailable Interesting. All right. And then it rehashes a lot of the details that we've already looked at. So, yeah, Karen Reed. I'm gonna try not to go down that rabbit hole, but I will when we're done with this, because honestly, I need a break from creeps on the goddamn internet. So my remaining thoughts on this, I think you could tell as I went along, bad man did a bad thing, right? Is not cutting the bullshit, is not taking responsibility, is kind of laughable in the way that he's trying to sugarcoat what he did. And like I said, it is ultimately, at the end of the day, somebody else's story that everybody is telling. There's a victim behind all of this. I wonder at what point they were consulted, if at all, about if anybody was going to speak up about them. And with that being said, there are a lot of people who are asking, like, why didn't people who knew about this speak up sooner? Like, why are we just finding out about this now? It happened in 2020. The event happened in 2017. He got banned in 2020 after they found out about it. And then now in 2024, we're hearing about it, like, confirming. And so people are expecting or are suspecting that, like, there was an NDA and the NDA ran out or something. I don't know. But you know what? I don't know. I was going to say maybe they held back out of respect for the victim. I don't know if they were waiting for the victim to become an adult. I don't know, because I don't know the victim's age. They don't say. And at the same time, I don't think that that's the reason, because nobody has said anything about we spoke to the victim and they're okay with me sharing this. Nobody has said anything about them at all, other than that they exist and that's who DrDisRespect was talking to. So they're out here yapping about it now. So they're not respecting the victim's privacy now. So I don't believe that them respecting the victim's privacy is why they didn't talk about it then. So it's been 4 years of this guy having influence, money, power, more and more access to fans, to God knows if he's had more conversations like this, if he's been successful meeting up with some girl at TwitchCon, if God knows what else we may discover. If, I don't know who's investigating or who's not. I don't know if there needs to be an investigation. Maybe this was just a strange one-time occurrence. I'm hoping that it was just one time. My dearest hope would be that it had never happened, but that's already been dashed. So maybe this was just a one-time thing. That does not tend to be the case in these moments, though. So this situation is still developing. I hope that if the victim doesn't want to come forward, that they do not, and that they stay within what they feel comfortable with. I hope that nobody is trying to find this person. I hope that nobody is trying to pressure this person to speak. I hope that we leave this person alone unless and until they want to speak, because already their story is in other people's hands, being told by other people. And I do wonder if everybody did know this behind the scenes. Why? You could have privately done some things. You could have had some private conversations. You could have privately took some action. It didn't need to be public. We didn't all need to know. But I think something could have been done to protect the audiences. It's never about protecting the audiences when people do these things. Like the fact that his monetization is suspended right now, for example, is to save YouTube's public image, not to protect audiences. because he's already been banned from Twitch, so he's not making Twitch money. So it becomes an important contrast that he is able to make money on YouTube. So to look good, YouTube has to ban him as well. I've seen whispers about him, not whispers. I've seen, that he's going over to Kick, is a different platform. I saw somebody commented that he had been offered a contract on Kick. I just don't know why, like specifically social media it's social media. There's such easy access between creators and their fans. It's supposed to be that way in a way, which is in and of itself a little bit of a problem because you end up in situations like this, let alone situations where there's, even without it getting sexual, there can still be boundaries that are crossed. There can still be just like weird shit that happens. There can be money problems, people scamming their followers out of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. That, like there's so much that can go wrong in this world of social media. You don't have to hold back on setting up boundaries as a company, but they always, again, too little, too late. Anyway, I had another thought. But I think it's gone. I think I'm just overwhelmed and tired. I'm going to read through the comments a bit and see what you guys have to say. I'm sure you have a lot to say. It's been a long time. So, I'm going to start with the most recent and scroll back from there. It seems like a lot of the demonetization processes are automated, which, yeah, I think is a major failing of YouTube. I agree. I think that I don't know. Like I said, I think it's a really great thing that Twitch developed some kind of a team that their whole goal is to specifically look into these types of allegations. I think that's respectable. I hope and pray and wish that YouTube has that kind of thing as well. So it's this, double-edged sword, bittersweet kind of thing of like, yay, I'm glad to hear Twitch has that. Shit, I hope, and I feel like it's not true that YouTube has that kind of thing. I hope they get it. If they don't, maybe they could learn from Twitch, not only in here's a dangerous creator that we banned, maybe you should too, but also here's something that we're doing to combat creeps, maybe you should too. And this is absolutely fair, Tricky. Game streaming communities are a whole different monster than regular social media. Oh yeah. I don't game for a reason. The presence and the passion of gaming communities really increase, the love for the creator, which can sometimes go too far. So you have to know that. As a business, you are not a police. You are not responsible for anything but your bottom line. I think a lot of business people think. But at the same time, when you're a business that works with people and your whole business is people, you need to make sure that the people who make you your money are not being harmed through your business, in my opinion. Didn't Shane Dawson get monetization back? That's when I realized YouTube had had a problem with safety and trust when they restated his monetization. Yeah. They suspend people. That seems to be the extent of what they do. And I don't know why. That's the most I've ever seen. Same with James Charles. Same with other people who the most they get is a slap on the wrist. These people who are already millionaires and are not going to be impacted by losing income for like 3 months because they've got They've got everything they could need for 3 lifetimes already. The jury is going back to deliberations. Good. Thank God. That makes sense that they gave them the Allen charge. But like, yeah. Okay, thank you. This is a great detail. Don't smoke in bed. DrDisrespect's statement about him stepping down being mutual, pretty sure that he got the email that he was being booted live on stream. He's doing his very best to spin that, LMAO. Yes, people have been sharing this clip of when he was streaming very recently, and he gets like a text or an email, he opens it up, and his whole visage just drops. That is not the sign of a mutual decision. That is not. And again, if it was a truly mutual decision, the company would have also said that, not just DrDisRespect. The spin that this man is doing while he's also saying that he's cutting the bullshit. Can I just tell you, this is the most Colleen Ballinger toxic gossip train. What is it? I'm not a groomer, I'm just a loser. His statement is the most ukulele bullshit I've ever seen since Colleen Ballinger. Sure, I did this other shit, but I didn't do that. This is the Colleen Ballinger of the Twitch gaming streaming community, and Cody Connors or whoever, Evoli, is the Cody Rants. And that's the best way I can put this for people unfamiliar. Is like, yes, it is serious, even though they're telling you that it's not, because what they're admitting to while they're telling you it's not serious is actually very serious. It's actually very serious. I love it. Just like the unawareness, the spin. Thank you, Tricky. I can tell that I think you're from the gaming community. It's important to note that the TwitchCon that he mentioned wanting to meet her at, the minor at, was the same one, the same TwitchCon where he tweeted, or where he cheated on his wife 3 times. This was in 2017. Remember at the beginning I was talking about lore and how there was lore around him cheating on his wife? So there's some crossover here. I wonder what he thought he wanted to do with this minor when he met her at TwitchCon. I wonder why he was asking whether she would be there. I fucking wonder why. I hate it when, truth tellers and I'm cutting the bullshit sit there and like lie through their teeth and pretend that we don't know. Pretend that we are the ones who are silly. Okay. Why can't people just be normal and go to a strip club or something when they want to cheat, not a minor's DMs? I agree, Star. And I have to wonder, like, if this was a TwitchCon where he cheated on his wife 3 times, I'm not necessarily in favor of cheating on a relationship where both partners expect monogamy, But if that's the decision that he made, I just hope and pray to God that the people he cheated with were adults. I hate that I have to call that into question based on his inappropriate interactions with a minor. But now I have to wonder. Now I have to look that up. Now I have to question and hope that that's what happened. All right, guys, listen. I think I've made my point here. Power corrupts. I'm thinking of a quote. I think power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Something like that. It's shameful to see this kind of shit. And that's not news. Nobody thinks this is cool. Nobody thinks this is fine. I think that there's a value in, like, as this story was coming out, I think there's a value in people waiting until there was some kind of receipts, waiting until there was some kind of evidence, waiting until there was confirmation, because it wasn't even the victim themselves who was speaking out. It was somebody speaking about their story and kind of these employees confirming amongst each other. But until DrDisRespect officially said something, it was hard to, like, go off of that with certainty. Because also it was either the victim had to say something or DrDisRespect had to say something. And I'm glad it was the doc and not the victim feeling like they had to come out of hiding. But I think never forget to be careful. Never forget that people with proclivities can be in all sorts of places. They can be gamers, they can be in, they can be TikTok dancers, they can be home design, YouTube, they can be funny video creators, they can be all sorts of places. And you need to look out for yourself and teach, as much as it's appropriate, depending on your relationship with them. Talk to the minors in your life about how to navigate social media and what to do if they find themselves in a conversation with a creator. Even if it's a creator they absolutely love, they need to leave that conversation until they're an adult. I think, because I think that creators lose sight of boundaries. The bigger they get, the more trusted they get, the more everybody loves and adores them. I think the more they think they can do what they want. They think their intentions are good. They might not understand how they're coming across to people. Or in a situation like this, where apparently the messages were sexually explicit, there's no confusing how that might have come across. There's no question mark there. Or there shouldn't be, doctor. So, yeah. I don't think I have much else to say other than what I've already said, which is, and I hope that this was helpful for anybody who doesn't know about the whole situation. You can learn about it here pretty much in one place. Thank you guys for hanging out. I think I gotta go because I gotta go catch up on Karen Reed and clear my mind out of this shit. But let's take a minute and take a breath and remember that something I used to say more often in my videos that I don't say as often now, but that I should. These situations are terrible. They're toxic. We're learning about other people's situations. We are not in them ourselves. So we need to breathe in positivity, breathe out negativity. Remember, we are removed. We can learn from these situations without feeling the emotions and the intensity and the stress of being in them. We are not. We are safe. Even though we're mad. Righteous anger and righteous indignation is fair. So this is my day off. So I'm going to go enjoy it. I hope that you all do too. The weather is pretty nice here in the Northeast. I'm going to go. If there's anything that I left out, leave it in the comments below. If there's any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you're still here, give this stream a like, subscribe if you like my content, set your notifications to all because I'm going to be streaming much more than doing videos. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to head out and continue to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Sorry to just like drop this terrible situation on you, but I'm hoping that this could help if people were kind of like catching glimpses of what was going on this week. Hopefully it helped you kind of have everything all together here. I will see you in the next one. Peace be with you always, and I really mean that. Bye.